Vanakkam, Namaskaram, Namaste, Salam, Sabona, and salutations. So here's an update on the Centenary Secondary School saga. And here I want to feature an interview that was done on ENC that might shed some light on what happened or did not happen. The viral video we all saw was a clear attack by African learners on Indian learners. It was clear many Indian learners were injured, 3 were stabbed, 1 critical was in ICU. ENC was on the scene when I was there. The majority of parents there were Indian. And as Indian kids were the ones who were attacked, you would think that this reporter would go straight to one of the Indian parents to find out their reaction. But no, she chooses an African parent who was just a concerned parent. Her children were not involved, so to speak, in any of the direct incidents, not assaulted or not part of the assault. But here's what she had to say.
An African child on the first week of, when the schools were opening on the first week, the child from grade 8 was fed drugs at the toilets by Indian learners. They forced him to take drugs. They put him drugs in his mouth and they took his bus fare money. And nothing happened after that. That matter was brushed out. It was put under the carpet by teachers. No, they didn't inform parents. They didn't tell anyone.
Now, firstly, whatever she is saying is an allegation. What she has only heard happened. She was not on site. Yet she's stating this as fact on national TV. Then she brings in race, referring to, when she's telling the story, she's referring to an African learner being fed drugs and robbed by Indian learners. And she confirms that this happened in the first week of school opening, not this week. And according to her, this incident involving drugs, robbery and possible assault was swept under the carpet by the school management, not reported to SAPS, no action taken. Also important to note, according to info that I have, that the parent of the child that was allegedly fed drugs and robbed has not stepped forward. There's no complaint as such that we've heard of, and no charge at SAPS Sydenham, which places the entire episode under shadow of doubt. But be that as it may, she continues as follows.
Till the learners knew that those culprits were still in school, they were not suspended. And African kids fought back for themselves. I wanted to know why the Indian learner was not suspended.
So here she confirms that the African learners started the attack on Indian learners. She says they fought back for themselves. Because these Indian learners were not suspended. And here she confirms the second attack on Indian learners by African learners on the school property.
And then yesterday when the learners came, and then they started fighting with those boys again because they knew that they're still in school. They were asking why you guys are still in school. They started fighting, and the principal suspended the African kids who were asking why those Indian learners were still in school, while those Indian learners are still at school.
The lady seems to be perplexed as to why African learners were suspended by the principal. But according to what she said, if that's what happened, the African learners attacked Indian learners. Now that's called assault. That's suspension. That makes sense. The principal was right to suspend them. Now, if the Indian learners were not suspended for whatever they allegedly did, it was not their fault, not their doing. So why take it up with them? Why assault them? If these learners and their parents, the ones who were assaulted, or the child was fed drugs and assaulted, if the parent and the learner had a legitimate grievance, they should have taken it up with the school management and or reported to the police and the school circuit manager. That is their course of action they can take. Drugs, assault, cover-up, robbery, etc. All serious allegations. But this happened in this first week of school opening, but there seemed to be no charges laid. Instead, it seemed that they resorted to taking matters into their own hands by assaulting the learners. The third attack happened outside the school gates, where clearly it can be seen that Indian kids were being wantonly targeted and attacked. Listen to this gentleman here, makes this last telling comment, which the journalist doesn't react to or deliberately cuts the interview, not prepared to delve further into this. Listen up.
What best is to let the children out, because they're going to start burning the school as well, because they bust the windows, they damage on teacher's car. Rather get them out of the school so no damages to the school. Further on, it went out when we let these children out. There was an altercation outside here with 2 parents who instigated the children to hit the Indian children. Yes. And it went on in that fashion.
Iman, as you can hear, there's conflicting reports.
Now, what the African lady said in an interview, I cannot verify as fact. The scary part is that she stated it as fact, creating the impression that Indian students were responsible for what happened. The relevant stakeholders are meeting tomorrow, Friday at 6 p.m. The 1860 NIC Congress, as a champion for minority rights, has made representations to be present at these meetings to ensure a transparent process wherein the Indian community is not once again unduly vilified as racist, as was a report in 2021 July unrest. Stay tuned. This feature brought to you by KC Auto Dealer. How's this 2022 Mazda 3 1.5 dynamic automatic full service history, brand new tires, excellent condition, drives like a dream, going for only $249,999. Tell her what you must.
Tell her what you must. Tell her what you crave. But don't tell her flop. Don't tell her with the masala.